Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about surface area of rectangular prisms and surface area of cylinders. When we're talking about the surface area, what we're talking about is if we were to take a box and we were to find the area that makes up the box, so the cardboard part. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about surface area. We're talking about the area that makes up the whole shape. So we find the area of each face of the shape, and then we can add them all up to get the surface area of the total shape. So if we were going to cover it in wrapping paper, we would want to know how much wrapping paper we need. We would be talking about surface area. Surface area is where the wrapping paper goes on a gift. It's the outside area of a shape or solid. So the first question asks, what units do we use for surface area? Well, surface area is an area, so we always are going to use units squared. Area squarea is how I kind of remember that silly little saying, area squarea. Whenever we're talking about area, our units will be squared. And then what units do we use for volume? We talked about volume last time we were together, units cubed. So area and volume are both easy to get mixed up. It's easy to confuse the two, so make sure that you are thinking about which one you're trying to find and reading questions carefully when it asks you to find surface area or volume. So the first question here is actually what we call a net. A net is if we were to take a 3D object and lay it flat, make it two-dimensional, this is what it would look like. So this here is a net of a rectangular prism. If we were to fold up all the sides, it would make a box, and then if we unfolded all the sides of that box, this is what we would get. And this is how we draw nets to kind of help us see surface area and help us calculate surface area. So it says label each rectangle with the correct dimensions, then find the total surface area of the prism formed by the net. In this case, this first rectangle they've already labeled for us is 8 millimeters by 2 6/10 millimeters, and so in this case 8 times 2 6/10, because the length or the area of a rectangle is length times width, is 20 8/10. So this rectangle right here is 20 8/10 millimeters squared. Then let's look at this rectangle here. It's also labeled with 6 millimeters and 2 6/10 millimeters. So I'm going to do 6 times 2 6/10, and that area there is 15 6/10 millimeters squared. Next, I have this rectangle to the left here. Let's start here. Now this side right here is parallel to this side, so this side is 6. This side down here of this rectangle is parallel to this side up here, which is 8. So I'm going to label this with 8 millimeters. This one is 6 millimeters. So 6 times 8, I actually know that one is 48 millimeters squared. That's the area of this big rectangle here. Then this bottom rectangle is now labeled with 8 and 2 6/10. And up here we already said that 8 times 2 6/10 was 20 8/10 millimeters squared, so I'm going to label that box there. This box right here, we've got one side labeled 2 6/10 millimeters. This side of the rectangle is parallel to this side, so we've got 6 millimeters is the label for this side right here. And if I do 2 6/10 times 6, we did that once already. We got 15 6/10 millimeters squared for this rectangle here. And then this last rectangle is already labeled for us. 6 millimeters times 8 millimeters is another 48 millimeters squared. So we've got the area of each of these sides of our figure here. Now we just have to find the total surface area by adding them. So we have a net of a rectangular prism. We labeled each rectangle with the correct dimensions. We find the total surface area formed by the net by adding all the areas of each of these shapes. And then we'll put our answer on this line. So we're going to add 15 6/10 plus 20 8/10 plus 48 0/10 plus 20 and 8/10 plus 15 and 6/10 plus 48 and 0/10. And I'm going to use my calculator to do all of that. 15 and 6/10 plus 20 and 8/10 plus 48 plus 20 and 8/10 plus 15 and 6/10 plus 48. I'm going to go back and double check to make sure that I got all of that correct. Looks like I did. When I hit enter, I'm getting a total surface area of 168 and 8/10 millimeters squared. And that is the surface area of this rectangular prism, or the net of the rectangular prism shown here.